along Highway 1. You can pull over and take pictures and look at these beautiful scenes, but you could fall off. And people do.
Yeah.
Because they're fools. But because we've always lived in California and I've done this so many times, I get the worst, like, what's that feeling you get? You know, the vertigo you kind of get.
Oh, I get dizzy.
Yeah, and my stomach is like doing the thing, you know, and I just...
Do you ever have intrusive thoughts? You're like, I wonder what would happen if I flung myself.
Well, I don't have intrusive thoughts as like, I'm going to do it, but I have thoughts that like, if it happens, I can almost feel it.
Yeah.
Like I know what it would feel like. I can imagine myself falling in that feeling.
I wonder if that's a life from a previous time.
I think it's a trauma response.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Everything we do is a trauma response, Stephanie. Yeah. Literally, our lives are trauma responses.
Because I do that on a variety of things.
Somebody said, I read something the other day and they're like, oh no, that's a trauma response. I'm like, oh, I know what it is. People who talk about death too much are like, oh, well, if I die, that kind of thing is like, this is, you know, well, if I die, blah, blah, blah. They're like, that's a trauma response because you don't want to be blindsided by grief or the shock of something. And so you're constantly trying to tell yourself, this is what I will do if this happens.
Yeah.
But it was a psychiatrist like, but you can't prepare yourself because you don't know. You
don't know.
Because you've never done it.
That's true.
So you can say it a million times, but it doesn't mean you're going to. Oh, welcome to the Ugly Truth.
I met someone the other day for the first time that's a new employee, and I maybe had a 15-minute conversation with this person, and she does not know me from Adam. And within 10 minutes, she's like, you're really hard on yourself. And I'm like, what?
What?
I don't know. I'm like, what was I saying?
Were you saying
like,
bad things about yourself?
Probably.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't realize I was. You know, we were talking about our kids and our having because I have both an adult child and I have a child still, which is weird. And so we were talking about our kids, and I think we were talking about our parents and how I'm like, you know, she's like, I don't want my kids to have to take care of me. I hope that they don't, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I really don't either. Yes. You know, I don't want to burden them and impose on their lives. Cause yes, would they do it? Yes. But it's probably not going to be a fun thing for them, you know, and how long will I live that they have to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really am preparing for my old age as far as like what my work, my job, my investments, things like that. Cause I really don't want that to be an issue.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And now you think, cause like, for example, my daughter lives next door to somebody who is a little older than us. She's never been able to be on her own, but she's not to the point where she needs to be somewhere.
Like living with someone or in a home.
So her dad bought her this condo 30 years ago.
Wow.
Because all he wanted was for her to have her own place and never have to worry about being moved or somewhere.
Brilliant.
So there was some kind of interaction with another neighbor with her, and it was really traumatic. And nothing, it's a new guy, and he's a little unhinged. Anyway, so Mackenzie, my daughter, went over there to make sure she was okay. And her dad was there. Her dad's in his 80s because she's almost 60.
Yeah.
And so he's like, we're petitioning to have him evicted because he's a renter, not an owner, stuff like that. And so Kenzie was like, yeah, I'll totally sign, whatever. And so they were walking out, and he said, my full-time job is to simply ensure that when I'm gone, she's cared for.
Yes.
Because I can't sleep at night thinking.
I can't even imagine being in that situation.
So she will need a caretaker, and she's only 60, so it's going to...
She's got long life left.
Yes, and he's like, and I don't. He's like, so I'm, you know, her condo's fully paid for. All the money that he has will be transferred to her for care and all that stuff. And I'm just like, that, he did it right.
Yeah.
He bought her a place, and he was able to pay that off.
I agree. It's such a scary thought if you have a parent.
But it is scary.
As a parent, if you have a dependent child or a child that's never going to be on their own, and you're like, God, what's going to happen when I die?
I always see those people who are like in their 70s with a super compromised adult child. And I'm like, I think it would be...
Because you can't stop the fact that you're getting old and you're going to die. There's nothing you can do about that.
All you can do is put every measure in place
as best you can,
as possible.
Yeah.
But I was telling Mackenzie's like, oh, well, you know, we'll take care of you, Mom. I go, here's the deal. Okay, I appreciate that. I go, but I had you when I was in my early 20s, Mackenzie. We're all going to be old.
I know.
No one's going to be, you're not going to be 30. You'll be in your 70s.
Me and my daughter were talking the other day.
I mean, come on.
She turned, our kids are 5 months apart, you and I. Yes. So our kids turned 32 this year.
Yes.
And I was talking to my daughter on the phone, you know, on her birthday. And I'm like, we're so similar. And I'm like, if you think about it, I'm 51 and my daughter's 32. Like we're practically, we could almost be sisters.
I told my son this. I said, you realize that we are literally growing up together. We've been growing up together since you were born.
Thank you.
Everything I'm learning, you're learning at the same. I mean, literally, I don't know what it's like to have
Lauren
an
was
adult
just a
child.
few years older than Lauren is just a few years younger than me when she was in high school.
I told Tyler, I said, do you realize when I was your age, I had 4 children?
Yeah.
Literally.
No.
He goes, I'm such a loser. I'm like, no, you're not.
No.
It's the opposite. Do you understand?
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Oh my God.
If only they could have been flies on the wall when you and I were young and had our kids, when we had Tyler and Lauren, and
when I was telling
what we went through.
When I was telling the lady who was doing my ultrasound, she's like, so how's it going? I'm like, well, I have a wand up my pussy. So,
it's great.
I'm hoping I don't have cancer. But anyway, how's it going with you? And she goes, oh, everything's great. And so she's like, they try to make small talk to make you comfortable.
know.
Like, do you have children? Blah, blah, blah. I'm
They
like,
try
yeah.
to distract you.
So I told them at the ages of my kids, they're like, how is that even possible?
I know, huh?
And I'm like, because I have good genes, I think. I have good genetics. But I was very young.
I was a baby.
And she's like, well, I had my daughter when I was 21. I go, I had my son when I was 21.
Right.
And she goes, yeah, she's my age now. And she's like, I don't know how I was a mother. I look at my daughter. I'm like, how did I do this?
I don't know.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I don't think we did a very good. I mean,
No, we did do a good job.
we did the best we could.
Yeah.
And I think that we were very good parents.
I think we were good parents compared to our parents.
Yes, very
For
much
sure.
so. But I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing at 21.
Mom actually did us a favor by throwing us out and not letting us, cling
did.
on, because
She did.
at least we weren't in that toxic environment, and we were maternal creatures, thank God.
We were very much caretaking.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was easy for us to love our kids.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
It's still
easy.
I was talking to a girlfriend and I said,
and I know it's not always like that for people.
no, and I told her, I said, as poor as I was, and I said, I skip meals constantly to make sure my kids had their stuff. It was not even a question.
Same.
But I said, the one thing I remember actively doing was I was so present. I never forgot what I was doing, so that I wanted to actively be available so that I would never look back and go, I don't remember.
Yeah.
There was only one time in my life where I was not present, and I literally have huge chunks of life where I don't remember, and I feel so bad about it.
I do too.
But
or I remember and I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why didn't I realize what I was doing?
Oh, I know.
Why didn't I realize I was putting my child in danger? Or
I know.
that I was
I
being
hate
so
it.
fucking selfish.
I think it's because we were young.
So young. I was 18 and you, like you said, you were 20.
Oh, we were so freaking young. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Somebody's like, aren't you glad you got your kids out of the way? I'm like, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I wish I was older because we would have had more resources, more patience,
more everything.
Just more knowledge.
And just Tyler and Lauren is the only ones that
for
I,
sure.
and I think that's why they're so special to us. And we've talked about this a million times, why we hold them in such,
they're a different
They're
category.
different. I mean, we felt like we put them through it. We felt like we made the worst mistakes with them.
I know.
All those things. And we couldn't love them more, than we,
I know.
than they're literally my heart. So
I reached out to Lauren because she's in the hurricane zone.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you okay? Is anything? I kept it light, I'm just like, is your house building on pause? Anything? She's like,
a little.
Oh, really?
Well, they were just getting ready to have the power installed like that week.
There aren't any power.
So now there's no power. And not only that, but all the people who don't have power, they're going to get help before they come.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Can you put the power in our new house, please?
Please. We've been waiting.
Yeah, well, we have 600,000 people without power right now, ma'am.
I saw this video of this woman I follow. I really like her. And she was all dressed up for an event. And she's like, I feel like one of the mean moms in LA, because she was in all white and she looked really slick and gorgeous. And she's like, I feel like one of those rich mean moms. She goes, yes, I'm here to pick up Julio Ricardo Velasquez. Yes, Chris. Mm-hmm, yes. And then she turns like she's faking. She's like, he just keeps buying me cars that I won't drive. But, that's just our thing. And I'm like, I want to be that woman. Me too. I want to be that lady.
Speaking of cruises, I told Lauren and Richard for their 12-year anniversary, I believe it was, they went on the Disney Wonder, which is a brand new cruise ship.
Did they love it?
They loved it.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Is it for adults? Like,
no.
You don't have to have a kid to have fun?
No, you do not. And as a matter of fact, they have you can buy rooms that are like in the adult section.
Oh, nice.
And they have adult pools.
Well, there you go.
And they have so they have places where you cannot bring your children.
Thank God.
Yes. So for those of us who would like to do the Disney thing, but you don't want to be around a bunch of fucking kids, right? And this is my daughter.
For sure.
She will step on a kid. Like, get away from
she's
me,
like,
you
ew.
gnats. Yeah. So her and Richard, and you know, like one of the benefits of them not having kids and being successful, they have money. So when they go on vacation, you know, they don't, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, okay. So they did it. They did the Disney Wonder. It was wonderful. They loved it. They had a great time. And I said, you know, I'm going to drag Aunt Jamie to Florida with me. I go, one of these days, she would go because she would do it for me.
I would.
What I was thinking is like, what could we all do so that you and Richard have a good time too? Because Lauren doesn't take time off work.
No.
And she values her vacation.
Her free time. Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't want her to just burn PTO up in her own little town.
She would do a cruise.
So we're going to go to Chili's tonight.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So
I don't want to go to Chili's.
I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah, but when you go to Florida, the choices are very limited. So you have to kind of... You have to accept certain parts.
That's strike 2.
I'm telling you. I would have to lie to you a lot for it to get you to go there.
You're like, it's my Christmas wish.
I'll be like,
Jesus Christ.
I think I have a tumor. You must go with me.
I'm getting a mammogram, but I'm going to do this trip first. So when I come back and they find the lump, I'm okay.
Yeah, so you have to go with me.
We'll have the memorable trip prior.
Yeah, right, totally. So anyway, I said, would you do it again? And she's like, yes. Oh my God, we'd totally do it again. Because they only did,
Where do they go?
Well, Disney has their own island.
Oh, well, my.
So because all their ships are out in Florida, and so Tyler's here. I guess we should go.
Yeah, we do need to get
But anyway, so I was like, well, if ever Jamie were going to take a cruise, I wonder if she would do that with me. And she's like, well, it was only 3 days, Mom. We did the short one. We left on Friday and we came home on Sunday.
You know what? I am not going to verbally say yes or no to anything right now.
I feel you.
However, I mean, you know, you're my sister, and
you would do it.
I'd be hard pressed to tell you no to
you
vacation with you
Besides,
because we'd have so much fun.
We would have so much fun, and we would be alone.
Oh my God!
With no kid. I mean, Jeff would kill me, but he'd have to get over it.
He'd be fine.
He'd be fine, right?
By the time you got home, he'd complete it, and he'd be like, "Oh, you left? Yeah."
I would just have to not tell him a lot of the details.
Just say, I'm going to Florida to visit Lauren. I'll be back. Bye.
Oh God, that alone would break him.
He'd be like, wait, what?
I'm telling you. Anyway, so
I found a moth in my closet and it ate my robe.
Oh my God. Well, here's I have like this. My master bathroom is like the size of a closet, not a walk-in.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the toilet in the middle of the night, just going pee. Nothing disgusting. Well, no, first of all, I'm blind without my glasses, and I didn't turn the light on because I was just peeing. I mean, I wanted this to be like a 1.5 minute long ordeal so I could be back in the bed.
You want to stay sleepy.
And I was trying, I even kept my eyes closed.
Oh, I do that too. I do that.
I was the only one who did that.
No, I tried to be blind.
Because I don't want to get too woke.
I want to stay in a dreamlike state so I can go straight back to bed.
Yes, because if I do wake up too much, then I'm laying there. Yeah.
Well, I'm up. Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
I'm doing that, trying to stay asleep, trying to stay sleepy. I open my eyes and I see something right in front of me because it's like from my knees to the wall is maybe a foot.
Oh no!
So I was like, "What is that?" I'm
Please
like,
don't
"Okay,
let it be a centipede."
It wasn't a centipede, thank God.
What was it?
So I had to flick the light on.
Oh God!
I had to.
I know
because it was big, and I knew that spot of the wall is generally there's not anything there.
Was it a bat?
No, it was. It's not even that traumatic, but it was. It was like the moth the size of your hand. Like one of those
traumatic.
big, you know, those big ones.
What the hell is it doing in your house?
And I'm like, where did you come from? How did you get in here?
Are you afraid of moths?
No, but they flit. They're unpredictable.
They will fly right into your face.
And your mouth.
And not think a thing of it.
Yeah. Like they're not afraid.
No.
So I was
they don't know. They're dumb.
Oh, for God's sakes. And I mid-pee, and because I had pee so bad. Yeah, like I'm like, oh God, like this is going to take like 30 more seconds before I'm done.
Did it fly up to the
and I'm trying not to move.
No, you don't want it to do anything.
Because if you move too much and you startle it,
I'd be like, you know what? You're almost an animal.
It was so big.
I cannot with you. How do
So then I'm like, what do I do?
We're not even in a tropical climate. Why is it
so large? Yeah. And there was no lights on.
Dear Lord.
So he was just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, do I smash it? Now it's on my wall.
No, it's too big.
Do I grab it with a toilet paper? I'm like, no, I might feel it in my hand.
It'll move. You'll feel it wiggle.
What do I do?
Well, I would just leave it.
Oh, God. No. So it'll land on my head or my face while I'm sleeping?
No, I close the door.
Oh.
And then I just make note and go.
Well, then it'll be there the next morning, which was only like 2 hours from them anyway.
God. What did you do?
I shimmied, You know, like I think I wiped standing up. Like I moved so where I could move, and I shimmied away. And then I was like, okay, I'm like, I have to kill it. I can't leave it.
Oh my God. I
had to do it. So I was like, well, the easiest thing to do, because I didn't want to smash it with a shoe or anything on the wall, because then I would have to clean up the blood and guts and all that shit. God. So I ultimately grabbed it with the water toilet paper and it went into the toilet. Did you feel it wiggle? I didn't. I did it so fast. I had the toilet open, ready to go. I had the thing, you know, I was like, it was the biggest water toilet paper ever.
I literally am stifling a scream right now because I would scream.
It was scary.
I'd be like, and Joe goes, what's happening?
And then, of course, all me sitting there with my eyes closed trying to stay asleep. That's shot to hell.
Oh, yeah. Now you're awake.
Because now my heart is beating like 6,000 miles a minute. No. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had insomnia for the rest of the night after that. But I did get rid of it. And then I felt kind of bad because the powdery stuff was all over the wall. And I'm like, damn it.
It remains.
I know you can't get the powder off.
I know you don't like killing things.
I really don't.
I know you don't. Mackenzie's worse though. Like she will literally pick up an ant and take it out.
I won't.
I'm like, it'll just come back. They want to come inside.
They do.
No. Oh my God. Daryl was making a movie quote joke. We were in the kitchen and we were putting away groceries.
Yeah.
And he was joking about that commercial. It's an insurance commercial where they're like, we have an ant problem. And it's all these women. And they're like, they're ants, like Aunt Tilly.
Oh, okay,
whatever.
okay.
It's a pun. But all these old ladies are in this young couple's house. And they're like, expired.
Oh, yes.
They're going through their cabinets
I've seen
stuff.
it.
So Daryl opens up because he's going, is there anything that we need to throw away? And he goes, we have an ant problem. I'm like, what? And I was like, we do? Where? In the fridge?
In the pantry?
He's like, no, the commercial. I'm like, oh
not
my God.
funny.
Like, please don't do that with pestilence. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Especially when we're in the kitchen putting things away.
I found a fly in our refrigerator the other day, Stephanie.
That's happened to me.
I opened it up and it's sitting on top of something and it's obviously either in a coma or dead. I can't tell. Because it's so cold. Sometimes they just sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know if they
I'm
freeze
unsure
to death
if
or
they
if
hibernate or what. I don't know what happens. But
I'm not sure.
it wasn't like rigor mortis. It was just in there. And it was on top of a leftover.
Well, when they die in there, they just kind of
I don't know
stop.
if it's like...
They pause and then they never move again.
I don't know if it's like fish where they freeze, but then when they thaw, they swim around again.
Could be.
Or...
But they don't flip out over their backs and they're you know how insects, their legs go in when they die?
Yeah, it didn't. It was just like frozen in time.
They never do in the fridge.
So I look at it and I'm like, okay, first of all, disgusting.
Yeah.
Like how many things did it land on before it finally settle on this thing? So I threw it out. I'm like, no, I can't have fly on anything.
I hate flies.
I do too.
And there's some really big ones.
We have a lot of flies right now, and I'm like, is there a dead animal somewhere?
You know what? I don't know why the hell we're talking about this, but when I was in Jeff's room the other day putting away clothes, there's a corner in his room that always gets a damn spider, and it's usually a daddy long leg, and they're fine, fine. But from time to time, it would be something else.
I don't want spiders in my house,
Jamie, ever.
No.
In fact, I was telling this to Jeff the other day because he's like, I killed a spider, Mom. It was running up my wall, and I killed it. And I was like, good job, son. Were you scared? Was it a black widow? He goes, no, it wasn't a black widow.
Black widows don't skitter.
Not generally, unless you discover them and that you surprise them.
They're aggressive.
They'll run. But anyway, so he's like, no, it wasn't a black widow. So anyway, I'm in his room. He knows the routine. He sees me in the corner looking to see if there's anything new that's popped because I look basically every day.
Yes.
And I didn't have my glasses on, so I'm blind as a bat. And I'm like, what is that? And now in Jeff's room, anything could be on the wall.
Anything.
A splat of spaghetti sauce. It could be a little crumb of hamburger. You know,
Mountain Dew.
It could be anything on the wall. And it's generally something that he's put there, right? So I can't tell what it is. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, so I grab his little plastic wiffle ball bat that's
like,
sitting there. And I go, bing, and I hit it. And I'm like, well, it didn't move. It's probably food. So later on, I come back. I put my glasses on. It was a fucking spider. I nailed that thing, blind as a bat.
Congratulations.
Good for you. I'm like, it's a carcass. It was a spider.
You know what? Good for you, because honestly, fear makes our aim less.
Oh my God.
So you probably didn't know.
Right. It would have been a 10-minute long thing if I had seen it. I'm like, all right.
Do you know how paralyzed I get when there's a spider and I'm in the shower?
Oh my God, Jamie, it's terrifying.
I
have a spider cup for filling up the shower with water so I can splash it. I keep it in there.
Well, you know, I always have a handheld. I've for years I've had a handheld so I can shoot it, because I mean that's one of the main reasons why I have it.
Well, honestly, I just revealed myself because we have a handheld in the hall bath, but in my bathroom, we never did get one. And you know what? Damn it, Jerry. No, you're going to get me one.
Yes.
Because why am I doing a cup? That's ridiculous.
I have a spider cup.
I do.
Okay, trash.
It's also
get a handheld like a normal
when
person.
I do Comet or bleach, so I have something to rinse it with.
Stephanie,
otherwise I'm like cupping it. I'm like, shh.
The handheld has changed my cleaning life. With as far as the shower,
I want one of those wands that's got the thing at the end that's like.
Why do you need that? You're not.
I don't know.
You don't need it.
So I don't need to bend and stretch, and it'll actually scrub the tile, and I don't have to do it.
Oh, I thought you meant your body.
No.
So I don't have to bend and stretch my body. I can just use it and just wand myself.
Wand my crack. No. I was on a TikTok the other day, and they were like, "Why doesn't everybody use washcloths?"
Who doesn't use a washcloth?
Every day in the shower.
I asked Daryl if he uses. I made him start using. By the way,
a washcloth or the puff thing.
Well, we use the puffs.
Yeah. So
I do have washcloths too, though.
Okay.
Do you use a washcloth?
No.
Do you wash your legs?
I do wash my legs.
Do you have a puff?
No. Sometimes.
What?
Sometimes.
Do you use bar soap?
I have both.
What's happening?
See? This was literally the controversy on this thread.
Interesting.
But I will say, I was very self-conscious when I was done reading all of the comments.
Good. I hope you've been shamed into using products to wash your body.
Well, I do use products. I have
what are you, a construction worker? Do you use lava? What are you doing? Good God, woman.
No, I use a very good cocoa butter bar, but I also have a like Nivea or Olive Olay body wash as well. So I use both.
All right.
Because the bar soap's very strong. But I use that because I feel like that's killing bacteria and odor at first. And then I use the body wash for like smoothness and silky.
But you use your hands? You don't use like a thing? Do I have to get you washcloths?
I own them.
Well, then why aren't you using them?
I own them.
Do you scrub your face with your hands or do you have a cloth?
I have an exfoliant that I used a couple times a week.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. So I'm glad I brought this up because
I'm glad you brought it up too. I'm embarrassed for you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
I was embarrassed for myself after I was reading it. I was like, my God, everybody uses something. Yes. And they were so shocked. They had literally the exact reaction like, you're having right now. Like they could not believe there were people.
You have to exfoliate.
Do you use your hands? They were literally asking all of those things. But 30,000 times in the comments, you know what I mean?
You have to use something to exfoliate your skin, the dead skin. Right. You've got to get the dead skin off.
That's what people were saying.
So Daryl and I had this discussion many millennia ago, not that long ago, but I said, because I bought him a puff finally, because I'm like, why aren't you using any, like a washcloth, anything? And he's like, I go, do you even wash your legs? He goes, well, I mean, the soap will like go down there. Right. And I'm like, and you think that's how you wash your legs? I go, what if you have actual dirt on your body? Do you wash the dirt off? And he's like, well,
I have hair and it collects things.
He goes, well, if I do, then yes, I will use my hands to wash. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. This is what I want you to do. I don't know if have you begun using products to
this was literally
scrub yourself yet?
This was like last night.
Okay, so before you
my
start,
midnight scroll.
This is what I want you to do because, and this is the reality. This is not anything. The reason that women of color are so ashy. Their skin is so beautiful because they have to exfoliate, because if they don't, then you can see the dead skin.
They get ashy.
Right. And they say that they get ashy. Yeah. I know. So I said, this again, I'm bringing up Bill Burr again. He's married to a beautiful black woman. And
she was on Real Housewives.
I know. And she is beautiful. She's an amazing, she's becoming a really amazing influencer for the black community. She's just amazing. I follow her. I love her. Anyway, so Bill was like he just used a bar of soap and he washed his body and that was the end of it. And she's like, you don't use a washcloth, you don't use anything. She's like, no. She's like, this is what I want you to do since you're white. Take a butter knife.
No.
And I want you to scrape gently on your shin.
Oh my God, gross.
And I want you to see how much dead skin flicks off of you. Yeah, but I shave. It doesn't matter.
So I'm getting it off when I shave.
That's true.
But I hear what you're saying.
So he did it.
I don't shave my arms.
So he did it. And he's like, oh my God.
That's so gross.
He's like, that's it. So from that point on, he uses a washcloth or whatever.
Well,
but anyway,
I will go and invest in some puffs. They're cheap. And I used to always have them.
You represent the family, Stephanie.
I'm telling you.
God forbid you go to the hospital.
Well, I was scrolling and reading in the quiet of my home. Now, of course, I've announced it to all 9 people who listen to our podcast.
Listen, you may be educating someone who didn't know. They're like, well, I don't have Threads. I don't know what this is.
I just couldn't believe it was such a thing. People were so passionate about it.
Very passionate.
And it was the people who use washcloths and puffs that were the passionate ones. The rest of us were like, what?
It was like someone has to. What happens is they start questioning your upbringing. And it's always the same. It's like, why do white people not use washcloths?
Everybody does, according to me. I'm a 1%er. So
most men, and the thing is most men are like, well, I mean, the soap falls down my legs. I'm like, okay, absolutely not.
No, I do wash my legs.
Come on. No, I don't think you're not clean.
I'm pristine. I'm not. Yeah, no. I have no self-consciousness about me being clean or hygienic.
No.
I shower most of the normal people.
The only thing that I would like to get, and we were talking about this in Carmel, because Glenn has this thing about dirty feet.
Oh God, it's disgusting. So
and
does
he's
Jerry.
like, he goes.
He notices it on TV. He goes, look at the bottom of their foot.
You know what? Oh my God. Okay. So Glenn goes, I call it porno feet.
Ew.
And I go, what? He goes, in the old days, they never even thought about that. And so when you look at videos, the bottom of their feet would be black.
Because they're walking around a studio.
Yes. The bottom of the feet would be black. And he goes, it's so disgusting. You completely are taken out of the fantasy. You're not even paying attention to the nakedness anymore. All you're seeing is filthy feet. And I'm like, can you please stop saying that word? He's like, what? Feet? And I'm like, please stop saying that word. And then Daryl has to stop and he goes, listen, you guys.
Like, she's not joking.
She doesn't like the F word. They're like, what? They're like, well, what other? And he goes, well, she doesn't like flap either. And I'm like, can we please stop?
That's me too.
Can we stop talking about
I haven't heard that word. Like my ears just bled when you said it.
Daryl loves it so much that I hate it that he writes it on products in the freezer.
That's mean.
He's like, this is flat meat. I'm like, stop it! and then he'll get really rude. He's like, flappy flap. And I'm like, stop it, Stephanie. Because you would do that shit to me in childhood.
I can't say it either, but yeah, you're right. If it's a thing that I equally hate as much, I won't even torture you with it because I can't say it.
So then it was a thing for the rest of the weekend.
Oh my God, so funny.
And I'm like, well, we went to the beach on the one beautiful day. We had Daryl and I walked around on the beach at Carmel and it was great. And then, but the sand, it was wet and I couldn't get it all off. And I go, well, I hope you're happy, Glenn. I have porno feet now. He's like, excuse me? And I'm like, I couldn't get all the sand off and they're dirty. And he's like, well, you better do something about that because gross. And I'm like, I know! It was a joke.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
All right, we have to go.
I can't. Okay.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.